ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which I am here to help you develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult, with our focus and emphasis on our Black children and Black adults, Black families here in America and across the globe. Welcome, 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 y'all. I hope that y'all are doing absolutely fantastic. And I hope that you all have read, or your plan is to read, for at least 30 minutes. All right, so that's what's going on. I'm just going to get right down into it. It's so funny. Like the moment I started this video, like my nose, like will start itching like around my nose. It's so crazy. It feels like some type of hair or something is want to just start joining the read aloud and start bothering me. So I just wanted to let you all know that, like, when y'all see me start like scratching around my nose, that's why. But anyway, so with that being said, I want to get right down to it. I wanted to start giving, which I've done in a lot of my videos that I had started doing, like when I first started doing a lot of read alouds. And I like to give a lot of read aloud tips, okay? But I know I have some newcomers, and obviously I'm quite sure that there are some videos that you haven't seen, right? I'm quite sure nobody has sat down and said, I'm about to watch all the videos that she's uploaded. If you did, I appreciate you. All right. But what I'm going to do right now is I am going to share with you all a read aloud tip. All right. And this is for my folks out there who do not know where to begin, and you are trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? How do I go about this read aloud thing? This is not my thing. I'm not, I'm not animated. A lot of people said I've been animated all my life. Okay, so people think you have to be animated. You have to have some type of acting background and all that type of stuff, and you don't have to have none of that. Reading aloud, the one of the main reasons for reading aloud is to have a connection with your child through literacy. Okay. So if you go into it with that mindset, it'll actually make the read aloud a lot more enjoyable and relaxing. Okay. So you definitely want to be able to have that kind of vibe going on. So my first read aloud tip that I'm going to give you guys is to pick a book that your kids would like and you would like to read too. Why is this important? Well, obviously, number one, you're trying to connect with your child or grandchild or your students. All right. So you want to make sure that you're choosing a book that they're interested in. But you also want to make sure you're choosing a book that you can actually read aloud and enjoy the read aloud. Because there are books out there, just because, it's a book does not mean that it can be read aloud. Okay. I have read some books and I'll get to reading them and I'm like, that book doesn't sound like a good read aloud book. Okay, it's especially when you're just starting and you're trying to get into, the read aloud process. And this is something that's brand new for you as the reader and for your child, the one who's listening to the read aloud. So again, try to find a book, focus on a book they would like, and also a book that you would like as well to be able to read aloud. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it, y'all. So speaking of read aloud, I think that's what I'm about to do. Nah, I know that's what I'm about to do. All right, God willing. The name of the book, Stealing the Game. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Raymond Opsfeld are the authors. For those of you who don't know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, he is a retired NBA player, and he is someone who focuses on reading. All right, he places high value in literacy. All right. And he not only was he just a retired NBA player, you talking about a championship winning NBA player. Okay. All right. And so he's definitely about empowerment when it comes to literacy and empowering our Black children in particular. I like that fact, when it comes to reading. All right. So now I'm about to read the chapter that is entitled Hamster Basketball. If you all want to know what's going on with this story, please go back to my earlier videos, okay? All right, so let's begin. This is your best? Coach Mandrake barked. You call this your best? Roger and Sammy Russell were running down court as fast as they could. Roger's extra heft slowed him down to the point where he looked like he was running through ankle-deep mud. Sammy smaller by 30 pounds, scampered like a chihuahua toward the ball as it rolled away from both of them. Coach Mandrake called this little exercise the fox hunt. The players called it the gut buster. Please don't tell me this is your best, Coach said, shaking his head in frustration. Because if this is your best, then we need to find a new definition for the word. Something like almost adequate or slightly better than a toddler. Good one, Coach, Weston said from against the wall where the rest of us were waiting our turn. Here's how the fox hunt gut buster worked. Two players stand on the baseline under one basket. Coach tosses the ball, the fox, down court toward the other basket. The two players, the hunters, take off after the ball. The first one to get to the ball continues to the basket to shoot. The other guy defends the basket. If the shooter misses and the defender gets the ball, they both take off toward the other basket, and the new shooter gets a chance to score. If he doesn't make the hoop and his opponent nabs the rebound, then they have to run all the way back down the court again. The first to score wins. More important, the winner sits. The loser goes back in line and keeps doing the exercise until he finally makes his shot. The last guy standing, who never scored, has to come half an hour early to practice for a week to practice free throws. Believe me, doing the gut buster once is hard enough. Doing it 2 or 3 times can leave your mouth tasting like everything you've eaten for 2 days. Not pleasant. To be fair, Coach keeps a sharp eye on the players. If he thinks anyone is struggling, he benches them until they feel better. Which is why Theo was sitting on the bench, hunched over, wheezing like a vacuum cleaner that just sucked up a golf ball. I should have never eat breakfast on Wednesdays, he croaked. He swallowed hard whatever had just come up into his mouth. What he meant was Wednesday was the only day we had practice before school. All other days we had it after school. On Wednesday afternoons, Coach had to pick up his kids from their school because that was the day his wife, a surgeon, performed all her arthroscopic knee surgeries. She'd even performed surgery on some professional athletes, including 1 Laker, 2 Clippers, a Dodger, and 2 Anaheim Ducks. He told us that they met when she repaired the torn meniscus in his left knee. Sounds gross to me, but he always gets a dopey grin when he tells the story. As far as I can tell, love has a lot to do with lame first meeting stories and dopey grins. Faster, boys! Coach Mandrake hollered through cupped hands. My daughter's hamster could get to that ball faster. Her hamster! But Coach, Weston said, even if your daughter's hamster could get to the ball faster, then what? He couldn't pick it up with his tiny hands, so he couldn't dribble or shoot. He wiggled his hands as if they were hamster-sized, trying to dribble a giant basketball. See? No can do, Coach. The rest of us standing behind Coach and Weston couldn't help ourselves. We burst out laughing. Coach turned toward Weston with a scowl. Even his goatee seemed to be frowning. Excellent question, Weston. Do 2 laps around the gym and see if that helps you come up with the answer. Oh, Coach, Weston complained as he started his laps. When Coach couldn't see his face, Weston grinned at us and gave us a thumbs up sign. That's because doing laps was easier than doing the gut buster. He could jog at a slow pace because Coach would be focused on us, which meant Weston wouldn't get tired. Plus, he'd miss his turn hunting the fox because we'd have to get to classes soon. Win-win. Exactly the kind of clever ploy Master Thief would use to overcome an obstacle. I made a mental note so I can use something like this in my comic. Coach glanced over at Weston and he picked up speed. When Coach looked away, Weston slowed down again. Is it still Wednesday? Coach hollered at Roger and Sammy. Is it possible we're actually going backward in time? Am I getting younger standing here? We all watched as Sammy caught up to the rolling ball at half court and jogged beside it for a few feet like a cowboy roping a cow. Suddenly, he bent over and scooped up the ball, then started dribbling toward the basket for what should have been an easy layup. Roger, with a scowl of determination on his face, shoved after him like a sputtering locomotive. Say what you will about Roger, he didn't like to lose. You better make that shot, Roger shouted at Sammy, because I don't know if I can stop from running into you. Sammy took the bait, glancing fearfully over his shoulder as he dribbled closer to the basket. The sight of Roger hurtling toward him like a wobbly meteor rattled him enough to make him miss the layup. He quickly scrambled after the ball and spun to shoot again. Too late. Roger was there just in time to get a hand up, tipping Sammy's shot straight into the air. Roger used his bulk to box out Sammy, snagged the ball, and started dribbling toward the other basket. Now that's what I'm talking about, Coach said encouragingly. He tugged his goatee as if each tug were sending wireless energy to Roger and Sammy. Go, boys, go! Coach Mandrake was the only black teacher at Orange Tree. He also taught music and social science. I knew that he'd played keyboard for a rock band called Justice in the 90s. There were some photos of them on the internet. They put out a CD called Dark Clouds Coming that had made the charts. I'd asked him once why the group didn't stay together, and he'd shrugged and said, we didn't know what we wanted. We just thought we did. I had no idea what he meant, but I knew it was supposed to be meaningful. Adults like to say things like that as if life is a riddle and we can only solve them when we're older. The thing is, though, we're alive right now, too. We're going through scary stuff every day. We could use some answers now. But good luck getting them, unless they come in the medicinal form of, this is good for you, which is why it tastes so bad lectures. Has any kid ever got anything from a lecture other than how to nod sheepishly and say, yes, I learned my lesson? Roger was within 15 feet of the basket. He turned his back to the hoop and started reversing in, using his heft to force Sammy backward. But Sammy had quick hands and kept swatting at the ball. Once he nicked the ball and rolled it away, but Roger grabbed it first. Probably the biggest thing Coach ever taught me was by accident. One time I went to see him about a broken locker. He wasn't in the gym, so I looked for him in the music room. As I approached, I heard this really faint violin music. I knew from listening to my parents' music in the car that it was some famous classical piece by Bach or Vivaldi. I figured he must be playing his iPod in preparation for a music appreciation class. But when I opened the door, Coach was standing in the middle of the room, playing the violin, his eyes closed, his body swaying slightly in rhythm with the music. I just stood there for a moment, unsure what to do. I don't know why, but for some reason his playing made me think of my comic book drawings hidden in my drawer. I'd always thought of him as just Coach, the guy who taught us how to play better basketball. Sure, he also taught classes, but since I wasn't in them, that didn't count. And I knew he'd played college ball and was in that rock band. But that was before my time, so that didn't count either. All that counted was now. And now I saw him differently. He was more than I thought, and that made me feel a little ashamed. Since that day, I'd been wondering about all my teachers. What else was about them that I hadn't realized? What secret talents and dreams did they keep hidden in their drawers? Chris, Coach said, turning toward me. You're up. Wow. Hey, what'd I tell you guys? What did I tell you guys? This book right here is still in the game. It's like every time I finish a chapter, I'm always looking forward to reading the next one. And I hope that you all are feeling the same way. And I hope that you all are remembering to please keep reading in your daily schedule for at least 30 minutes a day. Happy reading, and make sure that you please like, subscribe, and share these videos. All right, y'all. Happy reading. Peace.